Welcome everyone to Throwback Gaming's Our Life Begins and Always Let's Play, Part 5. Last time we did the grown-up episode, which might have been a little shorter than the shopping one, I'm not sure, but it didn't feel very long. And this time we are going to take on Long Day, which I have no clue what it's about. I'm guessing maybe it's at the beach, maybe it's another hot day, we'll just have to find out. So let's jump in, shall we? It was another scorching summer day, the kind where no sooner had you finished one cup of water, you were already filling it up again. Hey, I like that. Everyone else had something going on, so that afternoon it was just you and Shiloh. Oh, it's interesting, we get to be with Shiloh. This didn't happen much, especially since Cove had arrived. Without Lizzie around, Shiloh looked to you for all the answers. It made you feel pleased, frustrated, or nothing really. I guess it probably feels good, because normally when Shiloh's around, he's not paying much attention to you because he's too busy paying attention to Lizzie. So it probably feels good. You might not be in double digits like your sister, but he was only 7. Okay, he probably looks up to her then. He sees her as like his older, like, model figure kind of thing. Being the oldest and getting to be the leader was a nice change of pace. You drained yet another drink and frowned at the empty vessel. Your thirst was gone, but you still craved something icy cold and refreshing, something sweet, something like a popsicle, an ice cream cone, or an ice cream sandwich. Oh, that's a tough choice. The thing with the cone is it has to be a waffle cone. I think we'll go with the ice cream sandwich. You crave soft ice cream sandwich between 2 cookies. That sounds so good. There was nothing like that to be found at home. You knew that without needing to look. Your moms didn't keep sweets in your house. Well, too many sweets are bad for you. Outside there was plenty of places where such goodies could be attained, but they were shops and demanded payment in exchange for their products. You sighed, you voiced your predicament aloud, or you asked Shiloh for help. Let's ask Shiloh for help. Maybe we can start looking for money around the house. Shiloh, do you have any money? Oh, let me check. He's so cute. That was easy. You felt like you should tell him why you were asking. Thanks, I want an ice cream sandwich, but moms don't keep any here. Okay, first of all, if Shiloh does have the money and he gives it to us, we have to share it with him. Shiloh rummaged in his backpack and proudly produced an assortment of coins, plus a stray button. I don't think the button's gonna help, but nice. You set the button aside and counted the coins in neat piles. Just over $1. You announced this to Shiloh. He had almost certainly come to the same conclusion, but he'd been watching you expectantly. Yeah, he's such a follower. It's not enough, or it's a start. Let's be positive, it's a start. Shiloh beamed at you. It's so adorable. We need to find some more. Okay. The two of you lifted couch cushions, stuck tiny hands down deep crevices in the sofa and under furniture, and scored the back drawers. Most of what you found was useless or gross. Bent paper clips, fluffy wisp of dust, or sandy crumbs. Ugh. But every so often, one of you would find it strike silver or bronze and add it to your growing pile of coins. Dusty and disabled from checking every room and squinting into every tiny nook, the two of you finished pulling your finds. Shiloh held his breath as you counted the coins once again. $2.53, and 2 buttons. You didn't know when the second button had decided to join the party, but you were too pleased with your successful haul to throw it out. Is that enough? You figured he knew the answer, but you appreciate him recognizing your authority on financial and ice cream matters. That's adorable. You straightened out before making your pronouncement. Yeah, we got enough. You could now afford something at the shops. Just one thing, but that was indefinitely better than none. Shiloh clapped his hands. Yay! The two of you dashed outside, the promise of sugar buoyed you onto your destination where, breathless but happy, you stared at the overwhelming number of options. You knew what you wanted, but it wasn't just you who contributed to the funds to get a treat. He seemed to notice your pause. Aren't you getting an ice cream sandwich? Shiloh asked as though he was entirely separate from the decision, rather than someone with a stake in the outcome. Well, it's because Shiloh is a follower and he's a pleaser. And he's more focused on you than he is about himself. Do you mind? Shiloh cocked his head to the side. He's also probably not used to asked for his opinion. It was your idea, you should choose. You went ahead and got what you wanted originally. Are you really sure it's okay, or you try to get something you both wanted anyways? We both have to get something we both want, since he contributed, even if he doesn't want to. It wasn't fair for you to only be the one to decide when he had been a main factor in making it happen. Sure, he contributed at least half of what it cost. Some of the money came directly from his backpack. What do you like? All of them. They're all so good. You press further. But what do you really like? Popsicle or ice creams? Which is your favorite? Oh, it's so hard to pick. I don't know. He's a mess. Frustrated, you cut to the heart of the matter. You want me to choose? Yeah. He's so cute, but he needs to learn to make his own choices. And that was that. You got the dessert you wanted originally and hoped Charlotte would actually like it too. Finally, the reward for all your hard work was in your hands. You bit the ice cream sandwich. The chewy chocolate biscuit complemented the creamy vanilla ice cream inside. You held it out to Charlotte so he could take a turn. He shook his head. He's so adorable. No, you can have some. He didn't want any after everything he did to help get it. That was weird. But you accepted the offer. You tried to include Charlotte, or you hesitated. I guess we can try to include him. Even if Shiloh said it was okay, every story you ever seen on TV or read in a book said that sharing was caring. Sharing is caring. You stood on the ground even as the treat started to trickle dangerously towards your fingers. Ooh, that's what I should name this episode. Sharing is caring. I love it. Sharing is caring. Remember that, kids. Because it's true, you gotta share. You can't keep everything to yourself. It's the right thing to do. Alright. It's only fair that you have some. We both bought it. But you wanted it more than I do, and getting to play it was a lot of fun already, so you can have it. That's more fair. Shiloh, you're so difficult. You held it out to him. I want you to have some, even more than I want to finish it, so eat your part. Relentingly, Shiloh took the treat and gave it a taste. His eyes lit up. Aw, he's so adorable. It's really good, thank you. You smiled, pleased with your good deed. You picked the best one. Did he mean that? Shiloh was always nice no matter what happened, even if he hated it. You knew he wouldn't say so. Maybe he thought it was gross and that was the real reason why he didn't want to take some. You had no idea. I don't know, he didn't act like he was disgusted. I just feel like he's not used to doing stuff. He's used to being the cheerleader. You studied him as he ate a little bit more. He had every appearance of enjoying himself. Still weird. The two of you began to head back home as he ate. You walked side by side on the shore in silence, but your thoughts kept drifting to the boy beside you. Why didn't he speak up for himself? It was almost as if Shiloh didn't know how to say what he felt, or he was too afraid to. It's probably both. I think he's so worried about being in the crowd and being pleased and people liking him that he's not comfortable speaking up and saying something different. He doesn't want to be put out. He doesn't want to be an outcast. You figured that was his problem and you didn't care. Wrong. Are you scared of me? Hope not. Then again, we are Lizzie's brother and he looks up to her, so maybe he's worried that if he makes us mad, we'll tell his sister and then she won't want to play with him anymore. You thought it was kind of sad, or are we friends? I don't know what to pick, but we're not picking the first one. This is tough. Let's ask if we're friends. I mean, we are friends. I don't know. Shiloh opened his eyes wide, seemingly caught off guard by the blunt question. Yeah, we asked him if he's scared of us. No way. But you don't tell me things, like what you wanted to do or what treat we should get. That's not because I'm scared, it's because you have better ideas than I do. Oh, okay. It's not true, though. Unfortunately, this was yet another thing you couldn't entirely believe Shiloh on. You hoped it was true and that he really did feel okay around you, though. Shiloh made you unsure about setting a label on the experience of spending the afternoon with just him. There have been good times and there have been confusing ones. You were positive one thing at least. The treat was delicious and that was nice. Well, the thing was is that we caught him off guard, and most of the time when you do that, people give you their more honest opinion because they're not prepared for it. So, I don't think he really is scared of us. He's just a follower. He's okay with following the crowd and agreeing with them and going along with it. The sun was low on the horizon as you returned to your neighborhood. There you spotted two very familiar figures ahead, Lizzie and Cove. You opened your mouth to make your presence known to them just as you saw the tears on Cove's face. I wonder what's happening. You walked straight over, Shiloh at your heels. Once there, you defended Cove, took a moment to make a joke, accused Lizzie of causing trouble, or carefully asked what happened. Okay, you know that Lizzie probably hurt his feelings again. But we need to ask what happened first before we start attacking people. Without a time machine, the only way you were going to find out was by asking the witnesses. Lizzie might have done something, but she could have been in the wrong place at the wrong time or even come to Cove's aid. You wanted to hear the story. Exactly. Like, just because usually she's the one causing trouble doesn't mean she is at this moment. Cove, what happened? Jamie, I got yelled at. He took a deep, steady breath. Some grandparents got mad at me. Aw, sorry. Lizzie jerked her head in the direction of a nearby house. Your heart sunk. You knew exactly what had happened. Every year, the same mean old couple rented out that condo for summer. You, Lizzie, and Shiloh knew to stay away from them, but Cove couldn't have. They're like that with everyone. They're just old and grumpy because... for some reason. But, I mean, they get to be mean to people. Even your mom struggled to find anything nice to say about them. But the elderly pair occasionally took offense to children. Ugh, they just need to move away and stay away from everybody. They're just grumpy. It didn't matter if they were really... It didn't matter if they were really nice like Cove. Yeah, Lizzie said. Lizzie drew herself up at that. She looked pointedly in your direction. Uh-huh, I was helping. Okay, that was a first. We'll give you a point. That's the first time you were actually helping him and not antagonizing him. That's cool. Is there anything I can do? No, I'm just gonna stay away. Ugh. You could teach them a lesson. There was a devilish glint in her eyes. What? You should ding-dong ditch them. Go ring the doorbell and run. It'll be great, because they're so slow, they'll never catch you. That's dumb. I don't even want to go near him ever again. That was actually kind of funny. Cove glared but didn't take the bait. Lizzie turned to you. You're not a chicken, are you? Yeah, cluck cluck. I love it. You'd rather just avoid them, or you thought they deserved worse, or I'll do it. Okay, here's what's going to happen, though. If we don't say we are, you know that Shiloh's going to. Because Shiloh worships Lizzie. We really shouldn't, though. They're not worth it. You looked at the house. Behind those closed doors lurking two beings. Rich in years, but poor in patience. That's a great quote. I love that. Maybe they deserve retaliation. Maybe they didn't. But that punishment wouldn't be coming from you. It was safer to stay far away from them, especially since Cove took their outburst to heart. I know, poor Cove. I'm not doing it either. Shiloh, another chicken for the coop. This is a hen house now. If we're chickens, you're a lizard, Lizzie. Dang. She whacked her tongue in his face. Still better than a bird brain. Chicken. The condo door opened, revealing one of the two culprits. The old man's wizened face was set in a scowl, which was to say he looked exactly like he always did when you saw him. I never understood this. Why there's these older people that just, like, hate everybody. It's like, I'm sorry that you had a hard life or whatever, but, you know, it doesn't mean you get to make other people feel bad. Like, there comes a point where you have to take actions to make your life better. You know, you can't just blame the rest of the world for forever and ever, because that's not going to fix anything. Maybe that was his normal face. Maybe he has, like, resting face syndrome, you know? What do you kids do loitering outside my house? Okay, first of all, dude, we're on the street. Loitering outside your house would be if we were in your yard or your driveway. Go back inside and chew on your hard candy and watch the TV, or whatever. Or maybe he was always just in a terrible mood. Probably. Nothing. He repeated the word as if it was the greatest crime anyone could commit. Nothing good, more like it. Get lost. It wasn't as if he owned the space outside the house, but Coe's eyes, still red from his earlier tears, were wide, and he thought it would be best to heed the old man's command. Lizzie took off, with Shiloh immediately trailing after her with so much as a glance back in your direction. So much for your friendship. You waved your arm at Cove, summoning him to follow you, and ran after Lizzie. The old man's hollers propelled you all from the street to the sanctity of the hill. Only once were you safe did you notice the stitch in your chest and the ache of your legs. You flopped down, the blades of grass tickling your face. Lizzie, who had taken the lead in the end, was already lazily on the ground. The four of you took a moment to catch your breath and enjoy the feeling of the cool grass against your skin. Hey, Cove. Cove lifted his head. Excuse me. I told you there were mean grandparents around here. Cove rolled his eyes, then decided this wasn't dismissive enough and rolled his whole body away from your sister. She just likes being right. Lizzie chose to ignore his response and started chatting with Shiloh, who eagerly joined in the conversation. In the back of your mind, you knew you'd be second fiddle again to Shiloh once Lizzie came around. It always went like that. It would be kind of interesting, though, because there's probably a Shiloh path that you can take instead of getting with Cove. And it would be kind of interesting to see how Shiloh acts if you date him instead of get with Cove. Which I might explore at some point. I don't know. I am going to play the DLC, so that might put some more insight into why Shiloh acts the way he does. But, anyways. And it was fine, you thought? Or you still felt a little sad about how much time you spent together today? Or it was always annoying? Well, I mean, spending one day together doesn't make you closer than if you spend more time with another person, you know? Unless it's like an extreme circumstance. But I guess you probably do feel kind of sad since you did spend time together and it was just the two of you and you're not used to that. Excuse me. You've been hoping the two of you might become closer, but you had to let it go. He was happy where he was. There were other things to attend to anyways. You wiggled closer to Cove. He had calmed down, for the most part, and was expecting a flower. His fingers pinched the stem and tilted the white petals towards him. That's a poppy. Cove glanced at you in acknowledgement, then back at the flower. And the type of poppies on this hill have a name. White linen poppy. Mom told me. He quirked a smile. That's funny. He ran a finger over the edge of the petals. It doesn't feel like cloth. You need a lot of them to make anything. He nodded and released the delicate plant, evaluation complete. This is my favorite kind of flower, but I didn't know what it was called. Thanks. Dang, we got a lot of options. It's mine too. I like roses. Buttercups are really great. My favorite is snapdragons. Hibiscus are the best. Peonies are pretty. I love sunflowers. I'd pick tulips. Orchids are the most special. Type your own answer. I like all flowers, or I don't care about flowers. I only know what my mom tells me. Dang, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 12 options. Dang. We'll disagree with him. Cove smiled widen as he looked at you. Cool. You moved onto your back with a small smile and looked at the darkening sky. The blanketed clouds reminded you of a thick throat you curl. Oh, it's like a blanket. Okay, I was like, what? You curled under on cold, rainy days. You wondered if the clouds would be as soft. They lazily floated on by, splitting from each other, merging and morphing into new shapes. You saw a dolphin, you saw a car, you saw an alpaca, you saw a smiley face, or you saw cloud shapes. Let's see a dolphin, since that's kind of a throwback to one of the earlier memories. You saw a dolphin leaping through the sky. You nudged Cove and pointed to it. Look, a dolphin! Cove joined in you and gazing skywards. Yeah, I see it. Really? No, but I like dolphins. Goofy. Hey. He chuckled at your reaction. All the sun's light faded from the sky and the moon rose higher. Lizzie got to her feet, zesting strands of grass from her bare legs, and surveyed her surroundings. The ocean visible from the crest of the hill, beckoning with every sweep of the tide. Let's go to the beach. There was no argument from the other two. Shiloh was still Shiloh, and Cove could never say no to going to the shore. He was the child of the sea. You wanted to go there too, were too tired to argue, were happy to do what the others wanted, or objected the plan. Okay, this one's wrong. You know what, let's just agree. Or we can just say we're happy to do what the others wanted. Because it's hard to get all three of us to, well, all four of us to cooperate. The beach wouldn't necessarily have been where you chose to go next, but if that's what the others wanted to do, you weren't going to spoil the fun. Yeah, might be tired from the day, but gotta still make the memories. You stepped onto the sand for the second time that day, but it felt different at night. The beach was nearly quiet at this hour, abandoned to sandcastles and footsteps of the sand. Too big to belong to any of you, or the only indication of how busy it had been only hours earlier. Before you kicked off your shoes and removed socks and walked along the water's edge. The waves tickled your feet. I wonder what would happen if you tried to take a bath in the ocean with shampoo and everything. That would be bad for the fish. He's not wrong. I didn't say if anyone would do it. Geez, you don't have to be so serious about everything. Okay, you asked a question and he told you an answer. You just didn't like the answer, so you got defensive. You're the one who would ask what would happen. This is what would happen. It would hurt the fishies. I like bubble baths at home. They're a lot of fun. Shiloh, once again, being the cheerleader, trying to be he's the peacekeeper. Me too. Bubble baths are luxurious. You never heard Lizzie use that word before. Mommy loves to have bubbles in her bath. She'll turn the lights off and have candles. I'm gonna do that next time. Hey, when's your mom coming to pick you up anyways? Not for a while. She's busy. What about your dad? How come you never talk about him? No one does. Uh-oh. You're not supposed to... You don't know you're not supposed to ask something like that? Why would someone want to talk about something they never talk about? In other words, something happened to his dad. Either his parents got divorced and his dad's not around, or his dad had passed away. You kept your eyes on the ground, watching your toes get swallowed up by the waves. Even if Shiloh never seemed upset when this topic came up, it made you feel awkward for just having both your moms. It's okay. I'm like Lizzie and Jamie. I don't have a dad, but I don't have two moms. I just have one. She's really great. Well, that's good. Maybe he's just really grateful because his mom's really very hardworking and she takes care of him. Maybe he's just very easy to please because he doesn't have a lot. Oh, I'm sorry. I only have one now, too. My mom isn't here. She's back home. It's just me and my dad. I never had a dad or anything, so I don't feel bad. It's really sad that your mom's gone. Oh. Either his dad died when he was really young and he doesn't remember him, or he was never around at all. It's no good. Cove nodded. You joked about Shiloh's mom getting together with Cove's dad. No, that'd probably make it more awkward. Even if we're all different, our parents are all good in their own ways, or he didn't say anything. Okay, do we make a joke? Or we try to be... I don't think that would be good because Cove doesn't... I don't think that'd be good because of Cove and his mom. So, let's say this one. Yeah. Cove couldn't mutter a response. You don't think he truly disagreed, though. Silence broke with a splash as Lizzie kicked in your direction. Cold water and soggy sand splattered across your legs. Lizzie giggled, her foot still outstretched from the kick. I guess she was trying to lighten the mood. Cove joined in, striking the incoming waves to make a splash of his own. Shiloh scurried out of Cove's spray area with a grin. You made a run for it or you retaliated? Let's retaliate. You used your foot to smack the water pool. Oh, no, don't do that. You used your foot to smack the water pulling around you, sending an arc of sea foam flying back onto your sister. You laughed as she spluttered, some of the salty sea water having landed in her mouth. Ugh, she spat it out. Yuck. Lizzie chased you, intent on revenge. You dashed up and down the coast, taking it in turns to be the predator and the prey, as well as joining forces to take down Shiloh or Cove. Alliances were silently forged and wordlessly broken. That's funny. I love it. Everything was fair game in war. Is everything okay? Shiloh's brief exclamation was drowned out by the biggest splash yet, causing him to fall face first into the ground. Uh-oh. That would have been bad enough without the wave that followed, casting over his prone body. Uh-oh. Shiloh sat up, shaking his head like a dog coming in from out of the rain, as you all hurried over to check on him. His hair was plastered to his head, and his silk clothes clung. If there was any part of him that was still dry, you couldn't see it. That was crazy. Are you okay? Yeah, my foot got stuck and I fell over. Way to go, Shiloh, you dumbo. That's not nice, Lizzie. Don't be talking to your #1 fan like that. You offered to help him up, or you let him get himself up? We have to help him up. Shiloh didn't take your outstretched hand. After a moment, you dropped it. Oh, he probably got his feelings hurt, and he doesn't want to look like a weakling in front of her. Come on, Lizzie. Lizzie was too busy snickering to notice, and held her hand out to Shiloh, too. He took her hand, didn't he? He reached over and took it. Slowly, he started to pull himself up from the ground. Then he slipped onto the slick sand, dragging himself and Lizzie down in time for another wave to hit. He got her, even if it wasn't planned. The water rolled over them. Ugh. Sorry. No, he didn't do it on purpose. What were the odds of that happening twice in a row? You thought they must be low. There was no way Shiloh would do something like that on purpose and then pretend it was an accident. Especially not to Lizzie. Even if your relationship with Shiloh felt unclear, he did at least like her a lot. Lizzie was his favorite, right? Smiling boldly, Lizzie extracted herself from the ground and whipped a streak of sand from her cheek. She didn't intend to let this embarrass her. Shiloh got up as well, this time without incident. He still looked like a drowned puppy, but that didn't stop Cove from laughing at the two of them. With that, it was time to call it a day. The four of you made the journey back home, leaving a trail of wet footsteps and sand in your wake. Damp clothes may have weighed down some of the group, but your spirits were high. Your arms swung side to side as a cool breeze flowed past. Your moms were outside chatting to Cove's dad. We're back. They're probably going to be mad that we're all soaking wet and sandy. Your mom's face fell as they took in the state you were in, ranging from messy to soaked. Elizabeth, is that what all you have to say for yourself? You brought half the beach back with you. They certainly did. What's Marigold gonna do when she comes here to get Shiloh? Is that what you want him to be for the long drive home, cold and filthy? Okay, so Shiloh's mom is named Marigold. Lizzie's expression turned sulky over the scolding. Being the oldest could be fun, but it also meant she was the first to get in trouble when something went wrong. Mr. Holden, on the other hand, chuckled as he ruffled Cove's matted hair. You've been out making memories, Bucko. I'm glad you had a good time with your friends. Cove used his slightly moist cast arm to push his dad off. Mr. Holden's eyes widened when he noticed that even that had gotten wet. Now he was worried too. I think they could have found a less risky way to spend time and just had as much fun. That might be right. Kids, what can you do? Come on, Cove, let's get you cleaned up and dried off. Wouldn't want to get that cast to have to reset. Cove winced at the thought. Okay. Attaboy. Mr. Holden casually bent down and plucked Cove off the ground, ultimately holding Cove against his chest. Sam was already transferring from Cove onto him, but that didn't seem to bother Mr. Holden. Cove protested being carried, but only got a reassuring pat on his back for the trouble. Good night, Cove. Thanks for the talk, Cliff. Night, last family, and Shiloh too. Registered to his fate, Cove twisted his body in his dad's arms in order to turn around and wave goodbye. That's cute. Smiling, he waved back. Good night. Well, we better do what we can to fix you guys up too. Come on, everyone inside. I want you to march straight down to the downstairs bathroom. Yes, Mom. Okay, Lizzie's mom. Don't worry about swiping your feet on the mat this time. That won't do much good tonight. Sitting on an old beach towel your mommy had found, you waited in the hall. Unless you were less sandy, you weren't allowed to go to your room or walk around the house. But you did get a sandwich for dinner there. It felt like an indoor picnic. It had been decided that Shiloh would watch first and borrow some of your clothes. He was already finished and packed away in his mom's car. Mrs. Fields had come all the way to collect him a little while ago. It was a bit of a funny experience seeing him without a hat on for once. Lizzie, being much more soaked than you, got to go in the tub next. It wasn't a bubble bath that she's hoped. This was a no fun allowed cleanup session. At least that's what she claimed. Not much longer and it'd be your turn. When the bath was done, you'd have to go right to bed. After a day like this, you were glad you weren't going to any future events. Drifting off to sleep sounded like a great idea. And that's it for a long day. That was interesting. Completely not what I expected, but it seemed like everybody had fun in the end, so that's good. And next time we will do sandcastle, which I guess we're going to go build sandcastles on the beach. So, hope you guys enjoy. If you did, leave a like. Subscribe to the channel when you know new videos come out, and I will see you next time when we will go to the beach and build some sandcastles. But until then, peace out, everyone.